In the second semester of senior year, Zainshun and his young girlfriend were caught by the teacher for dating. To protect his girlfriend, he spread rumors that the person he kissed in the small park was me. He said, if Joy's family finds out she's dating early, they'll make her drop out of school. So he admitted to the school authorities that it was me, which led to me being called in for a private talk and required to make a self-criticism in front of the class. The students started whispering when they saw me, and some negative rumors about me began to spread around the campus. I never expected that just being accused of puppy love would land me in such a situation. My grades were declining day by day, and my spot in the art competition was taken by Joy Lin's best friend. As I walked home feeling dejected, I was suddenly dragged into an alley by a group of thugs who rushed out at me. My parents, who were on their way to the hospital after receiving the notification, died instantly in a car accident. My heart turned to ashes, and I jumped from the hospital building. When I opened my eyes again, I saw Zainshun holding Joy Lin's hand as they walked toward the small park. 1. The fear from jumping from a high place hadn't yet faded, and in an instant, I broke out in a cold sweat. Without time to think, I rushed to the classroom, grabbed my math test paper, and ran to the teacher's office. The math teacher was a very responsible female educator. Nearing retirement, she cared deeply about our final graduating class and never refused to answer students' questions. Unfortunately, as a dance arts student, I hadn't paid much attention to my academic grades. She seemed somewhat surprised by my question, yet also pleased. This is the first time I've seen you come to me with a question. I've always said that although the arts track is a viable path, having higher academic scores is never a bad thing. I gasped for a couple of breaths and finally realized the fact that I had been reborn. Facing the teacher explaining knowledge points I only half understood, tears uncontrollably streamed down my face. As long as I stay here until evening self-study, I can definitely avoid Zainshun's false accusations. Faced with my tears, the old teacher was somewhat at a loss. She thought the pressure of the college entrance exam had caused me to break down. So she put down the test paper and comforted me. Finally, when the bell for evening self-study rang, I said goodbye to the teacher and walked out of the office, only to run into Zainshun, who was hurriedly rushing into the classroom. He and I are not in the same class. He is in the elite class, filled with top students, while I am in class 5, a class full of art students. We live in the same neighborhood, and we've been playing together since we met in elementary school. He has always been an excellent student, good-looking, and very popular with girls. My grades are average, but I come from a well-off family. I've been learning dance since I was young and planned to take the art college entrance exam in high school, before Zainshun started dating. Our relationship had always been good, so I never expected that he would push me into the abyss for Joy Lin, because of his excellent academic performance. He was considered by the teachers as a candidate for top-tier universities, and with a little more effort, he might even have a shot at Tsinghua or Peking University. Therefore, when his early romance was discovered, the school authorities took it very seriously. Zainshun was right about one thing. If the teachers found out that the person he was in an early relationship with was Joy Lin, she would definitely face severe consequences. But he should never have made me the scapegoat, this time. I have a solid alibi and am determined to draw a clear line between us. Zainshun's class is a bit far from mine, so if he's coming to find me now, it must be because he just got caught and wants to use me as the scapegoat. When he saw me, he paused for a moment, then quickly walked over and tried to grab my hand. I quickly took 2 steps back, putting some distance between us. Taken aback by my evasion, Zainshun seemed a bit confused, but he quickly composed himself and said to me, "Nyan Qiao. Let's go off campus to buy some snacks after evening self-study. It's on me." In my previous life, he used this excuse to invite me to go with him. Little did I know, as soon as we stepped out of the teaching building, we were called into the principal's office by the dean. Before I could even figure out what was happening, Zainshun directly admitted that I was the one with him in the small park. I wanted to defend myself, but he pulled me back, because we usually interacted a lot. The teacher believed him. As a result, I was lectured by the teacher and gossiped about by my classmates. In the end, I ended up in such a situation. A surge of hatred rose from the depths of my heart, but I forcefully suppressed it. I'm not going. I still need to review. After saying that, I didn't even look at him and walked straight toward the classroom. Wait a minute. Zainchen grabbed my hand. What do you, an art student, need to review for? Just dance a little and you'll get into college. Right, what a lunatic, I thought to myself, feeling exasperated, and abruptly shook off his hand. Art students need academic scores too. You know, if you want to go by yourself. Back at my seat, I opened my books. Math and English have always been my weak points, but due to the confidence from my family background and the idea of taking the art college entrance exam, I only kept my academic scores at the passing line. Now, the experiences from my past life have made me realize the importance of academic scores. Isn't it a better choice to have a backup plan for myself? After evening self-study ended, I saw Joy Lin looking around near Class 4's door while I was at Class 5's entrance. When she saw me, her eyes lit up. Nyan Qiao, why are you still here? Didn't Zane say he was going to hang out with you off campus? Noticing the gazes from the surrounding classmates, I frowned. This despicable couple was determined to use me as a scapegoat. Not at all. You haven't been in contact with him much since you started dating Zainchen. After saying that, I smiled at her and added, although I used to be quite close to him, it's still important to keep some distance, right? Joy Lin didn't expect me to expose their affair in front of so many people. Her face stiffened, and she looked up in a panic, trying to defend herself. What are you talking about, Nyan Qiao? I just chat with Zainchen occasionally. He even told me today that he wants to buy you a pair of dance shoes. Oh Tilda, I exaggerated my tone. I get it, I won't tell anyone. No need for the dance shoes. I just posted on social media a couple of days ago about buying new dance shoes. You two have been so busy lately, you probably didn't notice. After saying that, I ignored her expression that still wanted to argue and hurried back to the dorm. 2. As soon as I entered the dorm, my roommate Yang Ting came over. Nyan Qiao, I heard that Zainchen from Class 1 was called into the principal's office. Seems like his puppy love was discovered, but the principal didn't catch the girl. You're so close with him. I've been stuck on this matter all day, feeling endlessly annoyed. Yang Ting loves to gossip and has a big mouth. In my previous life, it was her who spread the news about me and Zainchen being called into the office together, which led our classmates to form preconceived notions, making my later explanations useless no matter what. I glanced at her, and under her expectant gaze, a plan began to form in my mind. Really? Is this gossip reliable? Don't tell me you've been fooled. I pulled open the bed curtain, but I have seen him getting pretty close to a girl recently. Seeing that I had new information, Yang Ting became even more excited. It's definitely true. My friend from Class 1 said that just a few minutes after evening self-study ended, the head teacher called Zainchen into the office. Apparently, they saw him kissing a girl in the small park. So brazen. I pretended to be shocked. Yeah, I heard he shielded that girl completely, and after being discovered, he even let her leave first. Seems like he really cares. I lowered my eyes. If you're so afraid of the consequences of being discovered, why not restrain yourself a bit? You can't control your own actions, and when something happens, you just know how to make others take the blame. Not too sure. Since the beginning of this month, I've rarely hung out with Zainchen. Isn't he spending time with some girl from Class 4? I heard they met when she brought him water on the basketball court. Wow, that fast. Weren't you two childhood friends? Has he already moved on so quickly? Yang Ting looked completely shocked. Hey, we just live in the same neighborhood. So it's on the way. I'm going to be a dancer and become a big star in the future. I can't date anyone right now. It would just be future scandal material. I joked with her with a smile. And Yang Ting nodded, looking thoughtful. 3. The next day, I bought breakfast at the cafeteria and headed to the classroom. It was still early, and there were only a few scattered people in the teaching building. I opened my English book and started practicing speaking. Ji Yunyan Qiao. Didn't we agree yesterday to go off campus? Why didn't you show up? You made me wait alone for so long. Zainchen suddenly came in through the door and interrupted me. I rolled my eyes. Coming to bother someone this early in the morning? Who said we agreed? Didn't I say I needed to study? And what were you waiting for? Weren't you called to the office? I was called in by the homeroom teacher for a talk. He encouraged me to work hard in my senior year of high school. I nodded perfunctorily. Normally, the school doesn't allow students to leave campus freely, but there's a popular chain snack shop outside. The school has specially approved that from Thursday to Saturday, students can go there to buy things before 9:30 p.m. So before, he would often wait for me at the gate, and we would go together. After buying things, we would return to the dormitory, but it's been over half a month since we last went. Zainshun, seeing that I didn't respond, spoke again. You were spreading rumors about Joy at the classroom door last night. She's very upset and hopes you can explain it to the classmates. Seeing that he didn't seem to be joking, I was momentarily stunned and didn't know what to say. Zainshun, you don't think I'm still unaware, do you? What? He guiltily averted his eyes. You too have been bold enough this past month. Others might not know, but do you really think I wouldn't? Why are you still pretending here? You, Nyan Xiao, what are you talking about? Zainshun still didn't want to admit it. Stop playing dumb. Okay, you still don't want to admit what's going on between you and Joy Lin. The director already caught you. How long do you think you can keep hiding it? I said, crossing my arms. Zainshun didn't expect me to know so much. He froze in place for a long time. I ignored him and started reciting vocabulary on my own. Nyan Xiao, after a while, realizing I wasn't paying attention to him, he approached me again. Could you tell the teacher that the person I was with yesterday was you, Joy? She can't be found out. I fell silent. In your mind, am I just supposed to take the blame for you? Is Joy Lin's reputation important while mine, Jiyu Nyan Xiao's, isn't? No, Nyan Xiao, haven't you always liked me? As long as you admit to it this time. After this is over, I'll break up with Joy and be with you, Zainshun said firmly, putting on the appearance of making a great sacrifice. I was left speechless by this series of remarks, but in front of Zainshun, it came across as hesitation and wavering. He took a bottle of milk out of his pocket, placed it on my desk, and said, Nyan Xiao, I know you like me. After this matter is over, I will make it up to you properly. With that, he left. Ignoring my displeased expression, I caught my breath, never expecting that all these years of interaction would lead him to believe I had feelings for him. Zainshun is good-looking, which I've always known, but after all these years of friendship, and considering my own favorable circumstances, I've only ever seen him as a childhood friend. Far from any romantic interest, students arrived at the classroom one after another. The teacher began the lesson, and I put the matter out of my mind. 4. Jiyu Nianxiao, the homeroom teacher wants you to go to the office. Just after class ended, the class monitor walked up to my desk. I put down my book, sighed, and thought to myself, here it comes. This must be Zainshun telling the principal that I was the one. I arrived at the office, knocked on the door, and walked in. As soon as I entered, I saw the dean, my homeroom teacher, and the homeroom teacher of class 1 sitting to the side, with Zainshun standing in front of them. When he saw me, Zainshun gave me a look. I ignored him and pretended to know nothing, asking, Teacher, did you need to see me for something? The homeroom teacher's expression was not good. Jiyu Nianxiao, the teacher knows that your mind isn't usually on studying and that you're planning to take the art college entrance exam, but you can't start dating early at this critical point in your senior year of high school. What, teacher? I'm not dating anyone early. Sorry, teacher, we didn't mean to. Zainshun and I spoke at the same time. Then he looked at me in shock. I was just about to speak when Zainshun beat me to it and said, Teacher, Nianxiao and I truly like each other. Being with her won't affect my studies, and Nianxiao's academic scores have already met the standard. Zainshun, you're being foolish. With grades as good as yours, how can you start dating at such a critical moment? Zainshun's homeroom teacher looked quite angry, and the way she looked at me was somewhat unfriendly. My homeroom teacher also quickly chimed in. Yes, look at you kids, if you just focus on finishing the college entrance exams first, then start dating. It wouldn't be too late. The teachers won't stop you. They all started chiming in one after another, completely disregarding me standing to the side. Zainshun felt relieved when he saw that the teachers had already believed that the person from yesterday was him. Teacher, We were in the wrong in this matter, and we will be more careful in the future. Teacher, wait a moment." Seeing Zainshun's good attitude, the teachers were about to say something. But I interrupted them abruptly, and everyone turned to look at me. Zainshun immediately sensed something was wrong and tried to step forward to grab me, but I dodged him in an instant. I kept talking without pause. "Teacher, I am not Zainshun's girlfriend, I'm not with him. He's lying to you, Nyan Xiao. The teacher already found out, there's no need to explain, we'll just be more careful from now on," Zainshun said in a panic. I glanced at him, and the coldness in my eyes made his heart skip a beat. Only then did he remember that I hadn't given him a friendly look in a long time. "Teacher, I don't know why Zainshun said I'm his girlfriend. I've had very little contact with him lately, and what he just said is a lie." The homeroom teacher looked at me, then at the flustered Zainshun. She knew me quite well. Although my grades weren't the best, my character was decent, so she looked at the dean. "There might be some misunderstanding here. Student Nyan Xiao usually follows the rules very well." The dean was a middle-aged man in his 40s, and he sized me up for a moment. "Student Nyan Xiao, could you please tell us what you did after class yesterday afternoon?" Facing the 4 pairs of eyes across from me, some probing, some nervous, I slowly began to speak. "Yesterday afternoon, I was in the office discussing questions with Teacher Zhong the whole time and didn't leave until evening self-study began." "Teacher Zhong is my math teacher." Zainshun's face turned pale. My homeroom teacher immediately stood up, pulled out her phone, and made a call. I stood quietly by, catching a glimpse of Zainshun's tightly clenched hands and his pale, helpless face. "This time, I won't give you any chance to frame me again." Within a couple of minutes, the homeroom teacher put down the phone and returned. "Student Zainshun, although you have excellent grades, you can't just frame my student like that. This statement concludes the argument we just had." 5. Since the matter no longer concerned me, the homeroom teacher told me to go back to class first. I stood where I was and didn't leave. "Teacher, regarding Zainshun's false accusation against me, I want him to apologize to me." Zainshun looked up at me in disbelief, but I remained completely unfazed. "Classmate Gu is right. Zainshun, not only did you refuse to admit your mistake earlier, but you also deceived the teacher and slandered your classmate. This kind of behavior is unacceptable. You should apologize to her." Zainshun opened his mouth, staring at me stiffly, unable to speak. I stood where I was without moving. Seeing me so indifferent, he gritted his teeth and forced out a few words. "I'm sorry, Jiyu Nianxiao." Without even glancing at him, I turned to the teacher and said, "Teacher, he has been spending a lot of time with a girl from class 4 recently. You could ask her, she might know something." After saying that, I turned and left the office, leaving Zainshun behind to face the questioning of the 3 teachers. Not long after returning to the classroom, I saw Joy Lin passing by outside the window, heading toward the office. She looked flustered and clearly didn't notice me. The class was already halfway through, and it happened to be English, one of my weak subjects. I quickly took out my book and started taking notes on the key points. By the time class ended, my thoughts drifted back, and I slowly made my way to the office door. "Teacher Wang, we really didn't initiate it. Did Jiyu Nianxiao tell you that we're together? She has always had a crush on Zainshun. She must be jealous of us." I stopped in my tracks. That was Joy Lin's voice. Through the half-open window, she saw Joy Lin standing in front of their homeroom teacher, Teacher Wang, speaking excitedly. "Jiyu Nianxiao." Teacher Wang adjusted his glasses, his tone skeptical. "She didn't tell me about you too. It was Director Li who saw you behaving too intimately by the park." Joy Lin suddenly started crying. "Teacher Wang, we really don't have that kind of relationship. We're just ordinary classmates. Someone must be spreading rumors. It might even be Jiyu Nianxiao. She has always had it out for me. I'm too lazy to listen any further. The teacher probably already knows the facts, and no matter how Joy Lin tries to defend herself, she's just stalling for time." Back in the classroom, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Joy Lin walking back in with reddened eyes. It seems she doesn't have strong mental fortitude. She was questioned so quickly. She noticed me this time and glared at me with resentment. I pouted. After the bell rang for the end of class, I walked out the door and, unsurprisingly, saw Zanshin blocking the entrance and Joy Lin with reddened eyes. Ji Yunyan Xiao. How could you expose Joy? Zanshin was clearly furious, his chest heaving up and down. I turned and walked away. Ji Yunyan Xiao. He chased after me, his expression filled with anger. I quickened my pace, but he grabbed my wrist in an instant. The warm touch on my wrist made me feel physically uncomfortable. Let go. I shook off his hand. We had completely fallen out, and there was no need to hold on to even a shred of respect anymore. Ji Yunyan Xiao. You snitched behind our backs and got Joy's parents called in. This isn't over. Zanshin stood in place, shouting at the resolute figure. 6. Evening self-study class began, the moment I stepped into the classroom. The previously noisy chatter abruptly ceased. Dozens of pairs of eyes turned toward me in unison, then quickly looked away, as if I carried some kind of plague. An eerie silence hung in the air, punctuated only by a few deliberately hushed whispers. My fingers unconsciously tightened around the strap of my backpack, my knuckles turning white. Taking a deep breath, Ji Yunyan Xiao lifted her chin and walked straight to her seat. Oh my, isn't this our little snitch expert? A sharp female voice came from the back row, eliciting a wave of suppressed laughter. I didn't turn around because I knew it was Li Shui, Joy Lin's friend. I just continued my movements, sitting in my seat as if I hadn't heard anything. Walking to my seat, I froze. The once clean desktop was now covered in ugly words scrawled in red marker. Snitch dog, shameless. My breath caught. And it felt like a hard punch to my chest. Who did this? I turned to face the whole class, my voice louder than I had expected. The classroom fell silent. Some students lowered their heads, pretending to read, while others watched me with amused expressions. My heart sank. Such a drastic change in just a few hours could only mean Zanshin had said something. At that moment, Li Shui suddenly stood up. Ji Yunyan Xiao, you got what you deserved. Who told you to complain in front of the principal? Now Joy's parents are here to have her take a leave of absence. What does her leave of absence have to do with me? I calmed down and stared into Li Shui's eyes, seeing me so confident and unyielding. The students in the class couldn't sit still anymore and began whispering among themselves. Li Shui seemed to be extremely angry, breathing heavily in short, sharp gasps. If you hadn't snitched, Joy wouldn't be in such a miserable situation. She was taken home by her family yesterday. And you don't show any remorse at all. Ha! Joy Lin and Zanshin were dating and didn't even know how to keep it discreet. They got caught by the teacher. What does that have to do with me? Mitch, who doesn't know you've had a crush on Zanshin for so long, sticking to him like glue every day. Now that you see Joy with him, you're just jealous. Li Shui crossed her arms, looking as if she had already seen right through me. I let out a light scoff. Zanshin and I were just ordinary friends. Not only did he go to the teacher to spread rumors that I was the one acting intimately with him to cover for Joy Lin, but now he's even inciting you all to bully me at school. I took a step to the side, allowing them to see the glaring marks on my desk. High school classrooms have surveillance cameras, and I never easily let go of anyone who hurts me. That was you. Li Shui still wanted to say something, but the class bell rang, and the patrolling teacher knocked on the door, telling us to quietly study on our own. Li Shuitai reluctantly sat down. However, the probing gazes of her classmates made her feel restless and uneasy. Our classmates aren't fools. Everyone could hear what I just said, and it made them realize that Joy Lin isn't as innocent as she seems. The next day was Saturday, and there weren't many classes in the afternoon. I pushed open the familiar door, and the familiar piano stood quietly in the morning light. I put down my backpack and turned on the music I was most familiar with from my past life. The dance inside was choreographed specifically for me by my teacher, set to a traditional style piece of music. It was prepared specifically for the art competition. When the dance ended, I realized my face was already covered in tears. I had just wiped them away haphazardly with the back of my hand when I suddenly heard applause from behind me. I turned around and saw that it was actually Zanshin. This guy just wouldn't leave me alone. Nyan Xiao, go apologize to Joy, and then on Monday, in front of the entire school, admit that you were the one who was with me, and that Joy was just falsely accused by you. Then we'll forgive you. Zanshin stood below the stage, somewhat amazed by her dancing figure, but soon resumed his aloof demeanor. I almost laughed in anger. Me, to her, she's the one who framed me. Okay, I know. Zainshun nervously glanced toward the door. It's just, her family situation is very complicated, and she's emotionally unstable. I've already spoken to her parents and promised to cover her tuition so she can return to school. So what? At least you have books to read. It's not the same. Joy is very upset because the teacher scolded her. Ji Yunyanqiao looked at this boy she had grown up with and found him utterly unfamiliar. She's upset, but what about me? Are you just going to sacrifice me? My voice trembled. Do you know that since this morning, the whole school has been spreading rumors that I'm the snitch? Do you know what they've drawn on my desk? Zainshun lowered his head. As long as you go and apologize to clarify things, I will explain it to everyone, I promise. Suit yourself, I'm not going to lie, I said, then turned and left. There was a camera in front of the dance studio screen, and I had turned it on from the very beginning. Originally, I wanted to record my first dance after being reborn, but I never expected it would also capture Zainshun's ugly behavior. In this life, without the immense pressure and without Li Shuai seizing the opportunity to take my spot in the art competition, I will surely soar higher and higher, far away from these troublesome people. 7. After reviewing the piece I had prepared, I felt relieved. The experiences from my past life had not disrupted my dance talent. Instead, they had added a burst of striving energy to my movements, so I confidently participated in the preliminary round of the dance category in the art competition. On the day of the art competition's preliminary selection, I stood by the backstage curtain, peeking through the gap to observe the audience. The auditorium was packed, with 5 judges seated in the front row, including the vice-chairman of the city's dance association. My fingers unconsciously twisted the hem of the rented Tang-style dress, and a thin layer of sweat moistened my palms. Next up, from Xiong'an Middle School, Ji Yunyanqiao, performing a solo dance titled Qing Yang. As the announcement echoed through the hall, I took a deep breath and stepped toward the center of the stage. The moment the spotlight hit me, I noticed Joy Lin in the front row leaning close to Zainshun, whispering something, and they both looked up at the stage simultaneously. The prelude of the music began to play softly. I closed my eyes, pushing all distracting thoughts from my mind, and when I opened them again, the world had faded away, leaving only myself and the music. With the first movement unfolding, my body leaped as lightly as a feather lifted by the wind. The dance began with a gentle, unhurried rhythm, the music light and airy, as if I were in the rainy season of the Jiangnan water towns. Drip, drop, soft and slow, the climax was like a torrential downpour. Intense and turbulent, and I danced and twirled with deep emotion. My body seemed to have a mind of its own, every movement fluid and full of power. In that moment, I forgot the arguments that had happened, the rumors circulating at school, and the false accusations from others. My heart held only the rhythm of the dance moving with the music. As the dance ended, the auditorium fell into complete silence, all eyes fixed on the figure slowly coming to a halt under the spotlight. After a brief silence, thunderous applause erupted from the audience below the stage. A stunning performance. This contestant, your dance is full of power and emotion. After discussion, we've unanimously decided to advance you directly to the finals. The judge at the table picked up the microphone and spoke these words that filled my heart with joy. More applause broke out. I bowed once again, unable to keep the corners of my mouth from lifting. My legs were trembling slightly from the exertion, but that did nothing to dampen my wonderful mood. Before leaving, I passed by the lounge and noticed the gazes coming from inside, some admiring, some envious, and some even jealous. After leaving the auditorium, I saw my homeroom teacher, Ji Yunyanqiao. You danced wonderfully, I'm so proud of you. She patted my shoulder. Her approving gaze and excited tone completely genuine. Thank you, teacher. I'll keep working hard, I nodded. After walking to a quiet spot, I took out my phone and called my parents. The phone rang for less than 2 seconds before my mother's voice came through. Hello, Qiao Qiao. Mom watched your live match. You were amazing. Sweetie, Mom, I called out, and the long-suppressed sadness suddenly broke through the defenses and overwhelmed me. My throat tightened. and tears streamed down uncontrollably. "Oh, what's wrong, Xiao Xiao? Is the pressure too much? Do you want to come back and rest for a couple of days? Don't cry, Mom is here. Should I have Dad pick you up this afternoon?" I sobbed a couple of times and finally managed to squeeze out a few words after a long while. "It's okay, Mom. I can come back by myself after the match is over." After chatting for a long time, I hung up the phone and saw a new text message on my phone. "Nian Xiao. You danced really well. I never expected you to be so amazing, Zainchen." I stared at the screen, unsure of what to say. The moment I got my phone back, I had already blocked Zainchen, Joy Lin, and everyone close to them. Just as I deleted the message, I heard Joy Lin's voice beside me. Turning to look, I saw her frail and haggard appearance, clearly indicating she hadn't been doing well these past couple of days. 8. Nian Xiao. Joy Lin's voice was soft, even with a hint of a sob. "Can we talk?" Jiyu Nianxiao paused in her steps, her gaze cold. "What is it?" Joy Lin bit her lip, her eyes slightly red as if she had suffered a great injustice. "I know I did a lot of terrible things before. I really regret it." She took a step forward, reaching out to grab my hand, but I avoided it. "Zainchen told me I shouldn't have treated you that way. I was just so afraid of being caught by the teacher that I acted on impulse." She lowered her head, her voice growing softer. "Can you forgive me? I promise. As long as you explain to everyone and tell them I misunderstood you, I'll go clarify things." I looked at her quietly, my gaze calm but my words nearly sharp. "Is that so? Then why didn't you clarify when the rumors first started, if I weren't mentally strong? Could I have completed this competition properly?" Joy Lin's expression stiffened, but she quickly put on that innocent look again. "I was too impulsive back then. I really know I was wrong. Besides, it didn't affect your competition, did it? Can't we get along well from now on?" I let out a light laugh and shook my head. "Joy Lin, you don't need to put on an act in front of me. If you really want to clarify things, you can go right now instead of pretending to be pitiful here." Joy Lin's expression slowly changed. She stared at me, the vulnerability in her eyes gradually fading away, replaced by a hint of cold, mocking smile. So you're refusing a favor when it's offered." She tilted her head slightly, her voice suddenly turning icy. "Do you think you've won, just because you danced well? You think you're something special?" Unfazed, I picked up my dance bag and prepared to leave. "I have no interest in competing with you." Joy Lin suddenly reached out and grabbed my wrist, her nails digging almost into my skin. "Jiyu Nianxiao, don't get too full of yourself," she said, leaning in close and lowering her voice with a malicious smile. "Do you really think you can keep Zainchen hooked? Do you think you can stay this glamorous forever?" I winced in pain, frowning as I forcefully shook off her hand and said coldly, "Get lost." Joy Lin took a step back, her expression completely darkening. She stared at me and said, word by word, "Fine, just you wait." Joy Lin turned and walked away, her shoes stomping heavily on the floor with a harsh sound. When she reached the corner, she glanced back, a cold smirk curling at the corner of her lips. "I will make you regret this." I stood where I was and said softly, "You and Zainchen are both scum." After Joy Lin left, I thought for a moment. According to what Joy Lin said, is Zainchen actually starting to speak up for me in front of her now? Remembering that text message just now, I shuddered violently. More than his revenge, his self-perceived indecision between me and Joy Lin is even more disgusting. I don't think he has repented. He just sees this shining side of me and has started weighing Joy Lin and me against each other. It's laughable that after spending so much time with me, he only realizes this now. Unfortunately, I've already seen what a selfish and weak-willed person he is. In the end, no one would think he is particularly despicable because of what has happened these past few days. After all, he is the top student in the teacher's eyes and the affectionate guy in the classmates' view. Now all the rumors at school are about me and Joy Lin, and everyone just thinks Zainchen is a devoted and innocent person who made a mistake to protect his loved one. As for me, even though I clarified that day, and everyone knows that Joy Lin and Zainchen tried to use me as a scapegoat, there are still many people who don't understand the truth discussing it privately, but it doesn't matter. The evidence I have is enough to make sure they can't turn the tables. 9. When I pushed open the door to my home, The familiar aroma of home-cooked food wafted from inside. My mother was busy in the kitchen, and my father sat on the sofa watching the recorded broadcast of my competition from that morning on TV. This scene had appeared in my dreams countless times, but now it was right before my eyes. "Mom, Dad, I'm back," I said softly, my throat tight. "Jojo's back." Mom poked her head out from the kitchen, her hands still dusted with flour. "Go wash your hands. I made your favorite spicy wontons today. I sent Auntie home so the three of us can have a good time together." Dad set down the newspaper and waved her over with a smile. "Come here, let Dad see if you've lost weight again." I stood in place, my nails digging deep into my palms. "I can't cry. I can't let them notice anything unusual." I didn't want to make my parents worry about me anymore. I remembered my parents lying fragile in the ICU in my previous life, and the sound of my father's heart monitor beeping. I took a deep breath. "What's wrong?" My mother walked over, wiping her hands, and worriedly touched her forehead. "You look so pale. Are you sick?" The moment her warm, dry hand touched my skin, I almost broke down. I took a sudden half-step back, forcing a smile. "It's nothing, just, I'm too tired from practicing dance." My father poured a cup of hot water and handed it to me. "Don't push yourself too hard. We watched your competition video from this morning over 10 times. You danced so well. Many people online are praising you. I've been bragging about you to your uncles for a long time." The hot water scalded my palm red. I'll go change first." Then I fled into my room as if escaping, locking the door behind me. Is the child under too much pressure? Sigh. Senior year of high school is always like this. I buried my face in the pillow, letting tears soak the fabric. How she wished she could rush out and hug them, wailing loudly like she did as a child. After a long while, I lifted my head and went to the bathroom to wash my face. My phone let out a ding. I picked it up and saw that Yang Ting had shared a video. Ancient style beauty art competition makes a stunning debut, astonishing the audience. "Wow. Nyan Xiao, you've gone viral. Your dance video is trending." The video is actually my performance from today, and it's already received over 1 million likes. I was surprised as I scrolled through the comments, most of which were praises. Is she really a high school student? So professional. The emotional expression is so on point. It made me cry. Wow, that flexibility is incredible. 10. Just as I was engrossed in watching, a new comment popped up. I know this person. She acts all high and mighty on the surface, but in reality, she specializes in seducing other people's boyfriends. She's a homewrecker. My fingers froze on the screen. The commenter's ID was a string of random numbers, with no profile picture, but the malicious tone immediately reminded me of one person. Joy Lin. I closed the video, hoping to ignore the comment, but deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. As the video spread, similar attacks were likely to increase. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Joy Lin was gritting her teeth as she stared at her phone screen. She replayed Jiyu Nianxiao's dance video over and over, and with each viewing, the flames of jealousy burned even fiercer in her heart. "What are you looking at so intently?" A rough male voice came from behind. Joy Lin turned her head and saw her cousin Zhao Qiong walking into her bedroom with a cigarette in his mouth. Zhao Qiong was 5 years older than her. He had dropped out of high school and had been drifting through society ever since, now a small-time gang leader. "Nothing, just some bitch." Joy Lin locked her phone screen. Zhao Qiong leaned in and snatched her phone. "Let me see." "Oh, this girl's not bad, she dances pretty well. What's so good about her?" Joy Lin snatched her phone back. "She's just a fake innocent bitch who specializes in seducing other people's boyfriends." Zhao Qiong raised an eyebrow. "You mean that little boyfriend of yours? What's his name again?" "Zainchen." Joy Lin nodded with a dark expression. After the competition ended today, he actually sent her a message complimenting her. I saw it with my own eyes. That bitch has always been following Zainchen around before. TSK. Is my little cousin jealous? Zhao Qiong grinned mischievously and ruffled her hair. "Want me to teach her a lesson for you?" Joy Lin's eyes lit up. "Really, no doubt about it." Zhao Qiong blew a smoke ring. "But, bro's been a bit short on cash lately." Joy Lin immediately understood what he meant. "I'll give it to you as soon as my allowance comes in next month." "Deal." Zhao Qiong stubbed out his cigarette. So, how do you want to mess with her? Joy Lin bit her lip and thought for a moment. You keep an eye on her first and figure out her routine. I've been taking leave from school these past few days because I knew this online issue wouldn't just end like that. Sure enough, that comment caught many people's attention from the start, and everyone began asking questions. Then several accounts started posting some negative, inflammatory remarks. I opened the video platform, and thousands of comments flooded the latest dance video. She looks innocent but is so dirty in private. She even tried to seduce someone else's boyfriend behind the scenes. So disgusting. Her waist is so slim. It must feel amazing. Such vulgar language is endless. Joy Lin was curled up in the beanbag chair in her bedroom, the cold light from her phone screen reflecting her twisted smile. She had just posted explosive content from her newly registered 5th Weibo alt account, solid evidence. XX High School's genius dancer XX Qiao is exposed as a homewrecker in leaked chat records. The accompanying image was a carefully photoshopped WeChat conversation screenshot. I sent a message trying to invite Zane Shun to watch a dance performance together, but was rejected by Zane Shun. There are also photos of two people sitting together eating, and entering and exiting the neighborhood gate together. These normal interactions between friends, under the influence of the headline and from a specific angle, appear more like solid evidence. At this moment, the class group chat was also in an uproar. Looking at the foul language below, I took a deep breath. At that moment, my phone rang. It was my homeroom teacher, Nian Xiao. What's going on with the situation online? The competition staff just called me and said these comments might affect your advancement and eligibility to participate. It's fine, teacher. Those are all rumors. I'll go clarify things. After reassuring my teacher, I hung up the phone, turned around, and went downstairs. Just running into my mother who was coming to look for me. The sharp sound of a ceramic cup suddenly shattering on the floor interrupted me. Tea leaves mixed with shards splashed onto my father's trousers, but he just stared intently at the hashtag that had topped the trending list. High school dance student caught as mistress, accompanied by a photo of Jiyu Nian Xiao that had been photoshopped beyond recognition. Qiao Qiao, my baby. My mother stepped forward and hugged me. I said, Mom. Everything online is just nonsense. Mom knows. I'm just worried that you've been wronged. I'm going to tear the mouths off these things. How dare they talk nonsense about my daughter from the GU family? Father slammed his hand on the table with a loud bang. Mother held me tightly, her heart aching for me. I felt her warm, strong embrace and the gentle strokes of her arm, and my heart gradually calmed down. Qiao Qiao, what's going on with that Shen family boy? Things have come to this. And he still hasn't come out to explain, Mother asked with confusion. I sighed. At this point, even though they had always thought highly of Zainshan since he was young, my parents were now very worried. I needed to cut off their hopes for Zainshan, so I slowly recounted Zainshan and Joy Lin's recent actions. That ungrateful wretch, that blind dog. I must go have a serious talk with old Shan. Father couldn't bear to listen any longer and stood up abruptly. Dad, I called out to him, waving my phone. Don't worry, Mom and Dad, I have evidence of some things they did before. I'll clear everything up. Good, that's my daughter, Jiyu Jianhua's daughter. My father stopped in his tracks, his face still flushed with anger, yet pride and heartache also surfaced. He walked over and patted my shoulder. Go ahead, Nian Xiao, you've grown up, and it's good that you can solve problems on your own. Mom and Dad will always be your solid support. 11. There are only 2 months left until the college entrance exam, and the competition finals are just 2 weeks away. On top of that, the online situation has already escalated to a fever pitch, so I laid out all the evidence I had saved over the past few days and organized the timeline as quickly as possible. At this moment, I was sitting in front of the computer, my fingers trembling slightly over the enter key, as long as I sent all of this out. Zainshan and Joy Lin would have no chance of making a comeback. The complete truth about the school bell mistress incident. 3 pieces of evidence lay quietly in the attachment: classroom surveillance footage. Joy Lin and her best friend Li Shui covered my desk with red paint, writing words like snitch and shameless. Audio recording. Jiyu Nianqiao, don't be so arrogant. Just wait, I'll make you regret it. Joy Lin's voice in the recording was sweet, yet as venomous as a snake hissing. There were also several WeChat screenshots, over 30 messages from Zain Shin, aimed at making me take the blame for his girlfriend. The last one read, "Just do it for me. If Joy's dad finds out we're dating, he'll beat her to death." As soon as this attachment was released, netizens who were following this matter online instantly exploded. The moment I refreshed the page, over 100 messages appeared below, and they were still increasing non-stop. My phone vibrated frantically, and the number of Weibo message notifications skyrocketed to 99 plus. Came back to apologize after reading the evidence package. "We were all used as pawns. We doxed the wrong person. Now let's go after the real culprit." The hot search list looks like it was swept by a hurricane. #XX High School Lin X secretly instigating bullying behind the scenes confirmed. #explosive. #X Zain Gold Digger. #trending. Clicking into Joy Lin's Weibo. Her latest post is flooded with 30,000 comments. The hand-holding photo she posted just 2 days ago with Zain Shin has now been photoshopped into various sarcastic memes, with the most popular one captioned, "Hold my hand, let her take the blame." My phone suddenly vibrated. I tapped the screen and saw that it was a call from Zain Shin's mother, Aunt Shun. I was about to hang up, but thinking about our friendship over the years, I still answered the call. "Nyan Qiao. What's going on online? How could our Zain possibly do such a thing? Auntie, my evidence hasn't been photoshopped. Someone online has already verified it. You should go and persuade Zain Shin to apologize." "No, Auntie has seen it. That child Zain Shin was deceived by that girl named Joy Lin. Look, can you just delete the part about Zain? We've known each other for so many years, and Auntie has always treated you well, always considered you as a daughter-in-law. When the rumors first appeared online, why didn't Auntie ask Zain Shin to speak up for me and help clarify things?" I put my phone on the table, interrupting Auntie Shin's words. Auntie just didn't see it. Auntie doesn't usually pay much attention to things online. "Nian Xiao, you." I was too lazy to listen any longer and hung up on her. At this moment, my private messages were flooded with apologies. 3 days later, the principal personally placed the invitation letter for the City Art Festival on my desk. "Student GU, considering public opinion," he wiped his sweat. "The organizing committee has decided to reinstate your eligibility to participate." On the way home, a plane tree leaf fell on my shoulder. My phone vibrated again. It was Zain Shin's 10th or so missed call. The last text message read, "Can you see me, just for old time's sake, these past few days?" Zain Shin has been trying to reach me through various excuses and methods. I turned off my phone and blocked this new number. The wind swept the fallen leaves into the air, just like the golden dust that drifted down from the theater ceiling during my first time on stage. Zain Shin stood outside my building for the 7th day and finally got drenched in the heavy rain, developing a high fever, to focus on studying for the exams without being disturbed by those awful people. My parents hired a tutor for me and arranged for me to move to a quieter place where I could concentrate on preparing for the final sprint. The two of them also refused the daily apologies from Zain Shin's parents, bought plane tickets, and took a spontaneous trip to the south, and through Yang Ting's updates, I learned that Joy Lin's parents had gone to the school to cause another scene and even slapped Joy Lin twice in public. At this point, no matter how much Zain Shin helps her financially, it's useless because the school has already expelled Joy Lin. He has also been given a major disciplinary action, and the punishment he received in his senior year of high school will basically follow him for the rest of his life, affecting his college admissions as well. Moreover, now that such a major incident has happened to him, the Shin family's stocks are plummeting at a visible rate. I looked at the parody images of Zain Shin circulating online, such as "Years of childhood friendship can't compare to a sweet kiss from a girlfriend," and the photos dug up by netizens of the Shin family suppressing a case years ago where Shin real estate's illegal construction led to a worker being disabled. Along with images of the injured worker's family holding up a blood-written plea, the long-suppressed resentment in my heart fiercely erupted. "From now on, you can no longer interfere with my life." 12. At the alley entrance at 1:20 a.m. The moonlight was swallowed by dark clouds. I deliberately swayed my backpack as I walked into the narrow alley, and static noise came through my earpiece from the head of the security team. Target in position, white van at 3 o'clock. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught the flickering red glow of a cigarette in the car window. It was the cheap Nanyang Double Happiness that Zhao Qiong always smoked. Little bitch all alone. Zhao Qiong's shadow loomed over me from behind. Reeking of alcohol and betel nut, his greasy hand had just landed on my shoulder when I swiftly pulled out my pepper spray and sprayed it right in his face. He had no time to dodge and let out a pig-slaughtering scream. "You bitch!" His eyes were bloodshot as he gasped for breath, charging at me like a wild boar before abruptly stopping mid-rush. The Special Forces veteran I'd hired as a bodyguard used a joint lock to pin him against the wall. I leisurely fished out the phone recording video from Zhao Qiong's pocket. The screen clearly showed a message sent by Joy Lin 3 minutes ago. "Take a clear picture. I want to see her stripped naked." Surprised, I tapped his head with the edge of my phone. In my previous life, I also encountered thugs on this very road, which led to the final tragedy. Now that I think about it, it couldn't have been unrelated to Joy Lin. From the very beginning, she wanted me dead. I had suspected it for a long time. Even if I took the fall for them in my previous life, it shouldn't have led to those vulgar rumors spreading across the campus. Dating itself is widely accepted among young people, so how could it have led to such an outcome for me? After being reborn, I discovered early on that it was Joy Lin who instigated her little friends to spread the rumors, and the thugs in the end were definitely connected to her as well. The sound of police sirens grew closer, and I spoke amidst Zhao Qiong's furious roars. "This video will be on the news along with your record of molesting a female student the year before last." Then, I walked toward the bright path illuminated by the approaching police car. 13. Finally, Zhao Qiong was sentenced to 13 years in prison for attempted rape and sexual assault of a female student. Prison surveillance footage shows him banging his head against the wall every night, as one of the most despised crimes. His fellow inmates carved the word rapist into his arm using a toothbrush handle. As for Joy Lin, she still wore her school uniform during the trial, but no one remembered it was once the uniform of a top-tier city high school. Her mother and father immediately disowned her in court and took off with the funds Zane Shun had originally left for her final year of high school and subsequent college expenses in the women's prison library. She always stared at the television on the wall. It was replaying my final performance. I heard that Zane Shun didn't go to the college entrance exam. On the day of the exam, he was found drunk in an internet cafe, with his exam admission ticket stuffed inside an empty liquor bottle. On the day the Shun group declared bankruptcy, he stood on the rooftop of our alma mater and wrote me a letter. The letter was eventually folded into a paper airplane and flew into the rain along with his body. It read, "We could have been different." Hearing this news, I felt as disgusted as if I had swallowed a fly. For the finals of the art competition, I performed Nirvana, which contained my grief and anger over the tragic experiences of my previous life, my struggle and efforts in this reborn life, and the joy of my new beginning. During the curtain call, the audience erupted in thunderous applause, and someone on the judges' panel held up a sign that said sorry. After the college entrance exams, the admission letter and Joy Lin's verdict arrived on the same day. I used them to press the withered magnolia petals. The morning I left home, my parents secretly slipped my first pair of dance shoes into my suitcase. I set out on a new journey with Nirvana and them.